10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jay Seeney here, and while Australia's been locked down, we've been flat out creating some content. This is what we've been up to.
G'day and welcome to Dax Chats for another episode. I believe this is episode 18 already, and today I'm talking to somebody who is, without a doubt, an entrepreneur. He is a musician. He is a cinematographer, a photographer. He does financial advice, but he's not a financial advisor, so you have to do the research yourself. And he has helped many independent artists visualize their music. I'm talking about none other than Jay Seeney from Blacklist Productions, and today, Dax Chats to Jay Seeney. Here he is. G'day, Jay.
Hey,
how are you, buddy?
Really good. What's been happening?
Well, not much, obviously. Well, for me, obviously, because of everything that's happened in the world, we started a new radio station and started these interviews. So I think good things come out of bad situations.
Yeah, exactly right. I totally agree. And, drastic times call for a lot of change from people. And I think in some ways, it can be taken as a really good thing because, the world for quite a long time, I feel like has been played by everyone on easy mode. So I think a little bit of adversity for people can actually be quite a good thing, because you've got to rely on yourself a bit more to get yourself through. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to have to do on occasion.
And that brings me to a really big point, because what happened with this pandemic, you switched it up straight away. You were very quick at finding ways to make sure that you kept your audience, you kept people's audience, like Jane Denham, Ronnie Jordo, obviously your girlfriend's band. I can never remember their name. Southbound. All right, so you set up this whole ranch studio with multi-camera positioning and stuff like that, and you sat behind the controls and you let these people come to your ranch, and do these live shows to their audiences via Facebook, YouTube, and I believe you also had an Instagram little back way in, so you could do it live on Instagram as well.
Yeah, that's right. You've just got to find all the solutions, because there's a lot of problems out there, and I think the thing that I try and aim for is just to help as many people as possible, really, because when this pandemic come around, everyone was in the same boat. I had a lot of great gigs booked in, and we're going to be playing some big festivals throughout the year. But of course, it can't happen because of all of this. So you have to find other ways to make things happen. You've got two choices. You can either just give up and just go, oh, it's all too hard, I'll come back when it's a bit easier, or you can barrel through and continue to work on new things. And I've actually really enjoyed a lot of the challenges that have come along with that particular thing, like setting up the live streaming setting up like a pro live stream was something that was pretty new at the start of the pandemic, but now it's running really well, and it's something that I've added to the tool belt. And there's a couple of artists that are looking to do some live streaming in the future, even after the pandemic, to get their albums launched out to the entire world. It's something new in that respect. And I think on top of that, like, it's just good to challenge yourself, I think.
Very true, very true. And I mean, that's what, I found with the pandemic, everything, shut down. And of course, I'm in China, as you know. So it started in January here, late January. By the middle of February, I was going out of my mind thinking, what can I do? My wife's at home, my son's at home, I'm at home. We're all locked in together. And I was just like, well, what do I know that I can do and I can do well? So the Country Thunder Network happened, and it was just like, don't sit there and pity yourself because you've got nothing to do. Let's just move forward, no matter what the problems are, and see if we can't do things better. And so the Country Thunder Network came out.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's definitely the way to go, I think. And I'm in a lot of ways, I'm really glad, because it's shown who has the resilience in this day and age.
It is true. That is true. And I tell you, you've really showed that you can excel at just about anything. I mean, you've been a great artist, and you've obviously your latest single, which is a cover song, Ed Sheeran's "Castle on the Hill." That's a great song. I want to know why you went with a cover and not with a new original, but I do like your version of the song.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess come this period of the pandemic, I was like, I'd love to get a single out, and I've got a few originals that are in the bag that are pretty much ready to go. But I thought, everything I've put out up until this point has been an original track, like I think seven or eight singles to radio. So I was like, how about we do something different? So I chose that particular song, the Castle on the Hill track by Ed Sheeran, because I feel that it's something that a lot of people in the country music space and people that love country music would really relate to. I know for myself, growing up in a regional area, as you're young, you can't drive. So if you want to get anywhere, you've got to get on your bike and you've got to ride. And a lot of the lyrics in that song really brought me back to those memories that I had when I was a kid. And, there's so many great memories from that particular period in time. So I thought it'd be great to take that song and then reimagine it in a country context and get that out.
Cool. Excellent. And I mean, I liked it when it was an Ed Sheeran song, and I still like it as a Jay Seeney song. It's a brilliant song, and as you say, it has that ability to take you back to a time that you remember in your childhood, or as you were growing up, and it's a wonderful song. It takes me back because you're in Appin, New South Wales, which is on close to the Southern Highlands, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, when I was 12 years old, I was living out at Mittagong and Barrel, going to school at Barrel. So I was on the in the Highlands. So that song, and especially the film clip you put with it and stuff like that, it reminded me of my time back in Mittagong.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of it comes down to that realness element. Like the child that's in the music video that's playing Mini Me is actually my best friend's younger brother. So, it's not only real people that I've had a lot to do with, like growing up and as you get older, but it's all the spots too. Like all the spots that you see in the video are real. There are a lot of the places I used to go and visit. And I think that's what really leads to great results for music videos just in general, is to have that element of realness and connection.
And talking about music videos, you've been so productive for independent artists over the last two years. And now you've got people on your door, such as Lee Koenig and the Wolf Brothers, Adam Brand, Travis Collins. You've certainly come a long way from your first video with Katie James, Sunlit Avenue.
Yeah, mate, you've done your research today. It's great. But yeah, it's been a great journey, and I've really enjoyed being able to contribute to everyone's careers. I think that's been the most important thing. And you know, for people to want to shoot a video with me, like they're putting that out to the entire world to project their image. So them putting their trust in me to deliver them a great product, I think is something that's really, really important. I feel really proud to do because knowing myself, like as an artist, you know, you want great clips. So I'm glad that people you know, love what I'm doing and you know, want to shoot. But yeah, even this week, it's been crazy. I've shot, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for different artists, including Trav Collins, and we've done some stuff with Luke O'Shea, and you know, just this week alone has just been nuts. So it's yeah, I'm really, really lucky and really thankful for everything I get to do.
I forgot about that. You did Right Now Station with him too, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. And there's a new one on the way.
And there's a new one on the way. That's right. So, I mean, yeah, you have, you're one of these people that is, to me, is so rewarding to know. I mean, I'm glad that I know you, because you are one not to sit around. You are one to push the boundaries, and you're one to help others achieve their goals, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I just wish there was more of it in Australia, because I've traveled a lot around the world and seen a lot of places, and it's something, you know, as much as people bag out America, it's something that America does really well, is building people up and just trying to work together to grow something really big. And I'd love to see more of that in Australia. So I thought it was really important that I do that, because it wasn't something that I got a lot of when I was starting out in the industry, and I know a lot of other people also feel that way. So I just try and create that link, because I know what it's like when you're a beginning artist, and I know what it's like working with the biggest artists in the industry. So I just want to help people to get from here and get as far as they possibly can with what they have.
That's great. That is fantastic. Now, obviously, during COVID, you've also had the chance, and still to this day, I mean, there's still problems happening in New South Wales, and there's problems in Victoria and stuff like that. But you've still managed to get through and do a few video clips here and there. I think Porch Party was done just before the pandemic hit. That was good. Great timing, you know. I'm
pretty sure that was the last day before they put on like all the lockdowns for everyone. So this was unknowing to us at the time, but it was like the big party before the pandemic came on.
Yeah, well, I heard Jane Denham and what's his name? I can't remember. I hate when that happens. Damien Bagley. I heard them on Instagram the other day, and I think they were talking a little bit about the video clip and how the pandemic happened before. And Damo said, "Oh, you just have to blame me, because I was on the quad bike and I couldn't ride it properly." And
yeah, it was a really fun shoot, that one, getting everyone together as you know, part of the country music family, because you know, anyone that's seen the clip, you know, we had Damien from the Viper Creek band, you know, there was guys from McAllister Camp, obviously Amber Jasmine and Jane and Simply Bushed as well. So it was it was a really big party, and yeah, we sure had a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think, are you there? Okay, you're there. All right, I think I just dropped out for a second. All right, so you've also done some during the pandemic where you've been able to get out and do social distance clips. Let's talk about how you've been working with the social distance clips.
Oh, yes, the old social distancing, my favorite word of 2020. So yeah, we were still pretty busy during the pandemic, which was great. For a period of time, we transitioned more towards the corporate sector because obviously musicians not being able to gig, they can't invest in their products as much as they normally would be able to. We were doing a lot of stuff within the corporate world for a while, which was fine because there wasn't too much social distancing to worry about, because generally it's just one person like on camera talking. However, during that time, like we did do a few music videos. And the way that we got around that during that period in time was to shoot with actors that were actually couples. So they were isolating together. So it was actually really handy. So they could get within close contact, and you can get all the love scenes that you need for country music clips, and so that was the way that we got around it, and thankfully, it's been quite effective.
Yeah, it has been, and you've done an amazing job. And not only are you doing work with all the artists with country music, and trying to be an established artist yourself, you're also doing a podcast about the business and about the business sector. How's that going for you?
Yeah, it's really good. It's actually been like so crazy, and I've really enjoyed doing the podcast because I've had so many people on that are really interesting people. We've had people that make like upwards of $500,000 a year, have net worths of $5-6 million plus, and just getting to hear their insight and what they talk about is really interesting because it's definitely a different way of thinking compared to the way a lot of people think. So if people are looking to achieve those results, then it's really important that you take in knowledge from these people that are doing things that you want to do. So I for one found that quite valuable, not only for myself but also for everyone else that has been listening to the podcast.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I've been watching some of these motivational shows lately, and I watched one from Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he talked about his rise to fame and how he saw that he had to have a goal to work towards, and it didn't matter what it was to him. He knew where he was heading. So for every step that he's taken on his journey in life, he's always had that goal, and he's always worked towards that goal with it, no matter what anybody else said to him.
Yeah, and I think that's such a big part of it, and why he's been so successful is because people might have said, well, I know for a fact that in Arnold's case, people have said, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do this role. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. But he had that much self-belief within himself that he said, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it. And I think that's what I've seen a lot of that's really been lacking from a lot of people is that self-belief. Like, you'd be amazed at what you can be capable of doing. Like, it was within like less time than 2 years that I was going from not shooting any film clips at all to working with the biggest artists in country music in 2 years.
Correct.
So I think the biggest thing is that you need to back yourself 100% and just whatever your goals are, go for them. Like some of them might seem really unattainable, but it doesn't matter. Small, actionable steps every day, and you'll be amazed how far you come.
Yeah, well, come last year, obviously with the Country Music Festival, Tamworth Country Music Festival, you were nominated for a golden guitar for one of your video clips. You didn't get there, but you were nominated. So I'm thinking this year, 2021, you're going to have some more nominations because you've got a lot more clips to offer. And I'm pretty sure you might have one on your shelf.
Yeah, we've definitely got some great clips this year. I know that there's a few artists that have already spoken to me and said, we're going to put this one in for the golden guitars. So I don't know. We'll see how we go. Fanny might clinch it for the third year. You never know your luck.
No, I think you've done so well over the last two years that the rewards are coming in, and recognition is definitely there from across the industry. Everybody knows who Jay Seeney is. Everybody knows who Blacklist Productions are, and it's an amazing thing that you're doing for all the independent artists, and now the signed artists, the label artists are recognizing how good you are as well. So it's an amazing job that you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's enough for me to just like be able to do these clips. Like accolades are just accolades. They're great. Well, like that's fine. But getting to actually shoot these clips and create something like in the case of Lee Kernaghan, that's going to be a piece of history in his vast career, I think is something really special. So I'm just 100% grateful for that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is something that you just started doing a couple of weeks back. You've started a YouTube channel called Australian Wealth, and now what you are doing is you are providing information, and it is just information. You don't want people to take you for your word, but it is information about ways to succeed financially.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I just talk from my experience and things that have worked for me. And like myself, I don't know everyone's circumstances, so it would be impossible for me to give you like exact advice on what you should do. Some people might be ready to get into the property market. Some people might be ready to start investing some small amount of money in stocks. But at the end of the day, I think the best thing that you can do for yourself is just get informed. So that's something I wanted to do for people, because it's something that I had to really seek out, and it wasn't until a little bit later that I found that information that I needed. But I feel like a lot of people of all ranges of ages, I think it could be something that's really valuable. So yeah, as if I didn't have enough to do, I started doing that as well. But it's yeah, like it is what it is, like I really enjoy talking about those topics, and I think it's something that would hopefully help a lot of people. And there's been some good subscriber growth so far, so I generally just film them all at once and smash out like 4 or 5 in a day, and then I'll just schedule them to come out during the week or the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing with these things as well. We're just premiering them on YouTube and stuff like that. So we're building the YouTube channel, and we're building the Facebook stuff with the Dax Chat stuff. So they don't. I think I've got like eight of them this week, but I'm not going to roll them all out in one day. It's going to be a steady process over time. But the more artists and the more industry people that we do have, and the quicker they'll start coming out. They might start coming out daily, because it is getting that popular. My list for Dax Chats is amazing. I think first week in August is already booked out. So there you go.
Oh, that's great. Well, when you're doing a good thing, you get good results.
Correct. And like in all the time that I've been doing radio, which has been 4 years now, I actually found that this time round, and setting it all up myself and doing it all, with all the pandemic that's carrying on around me and all that stuff, it's actually been more successful than previous models, and it's working a lot better. Now we just have to monetize it, which we don't want to do just yet because of the pandemic. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, all in good time. And I think a lot of that comes from, just providing value to people. And that's what I've been trying to do for years and years and years. And I think the more value you can provide, the more listeners you get on board, then, it becomes a lot easier to monetize it, because, people can see the value of what you're bringing to the audience. And, different companies want to be part of that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're an amazing person. I love everything you do. Now, I do want to ask one more question before we go. You had a Australian Wealth episode about Uber Eats, and how you got to have Uber Eats for a whole year for free. Now I watched the program, and you bought in at $25 and you sold out at $38, making yourself about $6,000 in profit, which allowed you to eat Uber for 12 months with no cost. So I get the premise of it. But I want to know, how long did you sit on the stocks for?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So Uber, I think when I started to buy in was after the IPO. So that was, I think, just after the lockup period. Because what happens with an IPO, when a company decides, we want to go public and get some money on the stock market, they go public. but there's a period in time that the stockholders don't actually get to sell their shares on the open market. So, you know, that's to prevent them just like flooding the market instantly and selling out. And, you know, it's not so great. So there's a period of time where that can't happen, which I think is probably a good thing. So it was just after the lockup period. So I'd see that the stock price had been getting hammered. Some people have been selling out. And on the public market, the CEO had just like let a whole heap of shares out of his grasp. So obviously that's driven the price down more and more and more. So it was probably about a week or so after this happened that I started to see Uber around like 25, 26 bucks. And I went, okay, this is starting to look like a pretty attractive deal based on like what Uber was going to do in the future and, you know, that kind of thing. So I started to have a bit of a nibble and loaded in a pretty solid position. And then I guess probably about a month or so ago was when I sold that position. So I was holding it probably a few months, I'd have to say, and then sold out for a decent profit. And that has allowed me, if I want to get Uber Eats like 3 times a week for an entire year, which I think it'll last a lot longer than that.
So it's a couple of months that you bought in, and then sold out. That's very good. So, but I mean, that in itself is a job in itself. Again, you know, watching the stock market and seeing what's beneficial for you and seeing what's rising. And as you say, researching every part of the company and what to do and where they can grow and stuff like that. I mean, there's so much information that you have to know before actually going out and purchasing any stocks at all.
Absolutely. I think, especially in this recent era, because, the market did have a massive tank back in March, you know, because the effects of the coronavirus were felt around the world. So the market just got obliterated. And a lot of people saw this as a great opportunity, which it was. I was also buying. And people just went nuts. And they were buying everything. and some of these people have, you know, they've done relatively well. But the problem is they're not knowing what they're buying into. So it could be tomorrow that, you know, we come back to reality. I've actually been selling out of a lot of stuff recently because the valuations of things I personally believe is crazy. But a lot of these people are just going to get smashed because they don't know what they're buying. And there's so many variables that are unknown for a lot of people at a lot of the time. Like take a company as great as Apple. They're sitting on over $200 billion in cash. But the thing is, if they have a change of CEO, they could tank that company very quickly if they get the wrong person in. So it's not only are their revenues growing, you know, is their branding good? You know, are they getting closer to net income or are they increasing profitability? Is the CEO doing great things for that company? Do they know the sector? Like, it's all of these different things that you've got to be keeping a track of and, you know, understanding what actually goes into running a business. And I think, you know, running a business myself, it gives me a good understanding of a lot of those different factors.
Correct. Well, I must say that you are an absolute legend. You do so much for so many people. When do you have any free time?
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. You'd think I wouldn't have a lot, but there is times when I completely switch off all the computers and all the social media and all that. And generally, when I have that free time, I'm usually spending that with my fiance. So yeah, we get a lot of great time together. So yeah, it's I think people really underestimate how productive they can be. Like, a lot of people spend way too much time on social media, and then they go, "Oh, I have no time." Well, you just spent the last 7 hours scrolling through TikTok. So I don't
know. I hate it. I'm one of these people, like, okay, I do this for my job, you know, right? So I talk to you and I do the radio station for my job and I do social media for the radio station. And my wife goes out and works. And when she comes home, and I hand the son over, because I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad while she's at work, while I'm running the radio station. My son's napping right now. That's why I do these at this time of day. And when she comes home, I was like, okay, now he's your responsibility now. You've got to look after him tonight, you know, get him ready for, you know, feed him, get him ready for bed, whatever, you know, spend some time playing with him. And she's like this. While she's talking to him, she's like this on her phone. And I'm like, look, you just got to put that phone down. You don't need that phone.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I, like myself and Andrew are really good. Like we don't spend any time on our phones when we're together because, you know, I think it's absolutely foundational to a relationship to actually have good, strong communication, because in this world, like that is something that's really lacking, I think, you know, because all of these connections, especially during this pandemic, it's kind of like emphasized it even more. You know, like it is great that we can connect through technology and all of the social media and things like that, which is great. But the human contact that you get with a partner or friends in person, it's going to be irreplaceable. And I think,
Correct.
yeah, I think you'd be surprised like how many relationships would have trouble just because of like that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, the more you can get off social media with your partner is probably a really great thing, or, you know, like kids and yeah, all that kind of thing.
Well, there you go. All right, buddy. Well, that has been a brilliant interview. Thank you so much for all your time. You are a dead set legend, and I respect everything you do. And thank you for spending time talking to me today.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, buddy. Have a good evening.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
See you, buddy. All right, that was Jay Seeney from Blacklist Productions, and a whole lot more Australian Wealth on the YouTube channel. Check that out. It's very interesting stuff. Check out the videos that he does. Go to his website, blacklistproductions.com.au. Have a look at what he's got coming up, what he's got in store for you. And if you are an entertainer and you want to do some video clips, please contact Jay Seeney at Blacklist Productions. He'd be only too happy to help. This has been DJ Dax for Dax Chats. We are proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. And until next time, see you later. Bye.